Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Future Dimensions 360. As you guys know, in our last tutorial, we had learned how to use useState hook with objects. Until now, we had learned how to use useState hooks with normal variable, with objects, and depending upon the previous state. In today's tutorial, we will be learning how to use useState hook with arrays. Let's go ahead and try to make a new component called hook, I will say hook array.js. What I'll do here is I'll create RFCE React functional component. Inside the React functional component, what I have to do here is what I will do is I'll remove the extra code from my app.js file and I will import the component in my app.js file. Now, in this example, what we have to do is we have to take an array in the state and try to show that array in our front end or in our user interface. What we have to do here is we have to take an array in the function that named as items, and I will say set items. Use state hook we will be using, and with the help of parameter, we will pass an empty array at the beginning to this items state, that is an array. What I have to do here is I will say ul. Inside ul, what I have to do here is first of all I will map the items dot map, and item will take single item as a map, and I will pass an arrow function in the mapping. In the arrow function I will say li. What li will do, I will print item dot value and value value, and the key should be item dot key. Okay, now I'll go to my browser. As you guys can see, it's empty because I don't have any data in my array. Let me create a button on top of it to add data in the array as well. I'll say button add item, and on click what I want here is I will say on click listener, what I have to do here is I will say add item function we have to call. What that add item function will be, const add item, it will be an arrow function. Yeah, that's it. So in the add item function, now what I want here is when I will click this one, it will add an item into an array. So for adding an item into the state array, that is items, what I have to do is I have to use set items method. Inside set items method, don't forget to spread the old items. Why? That we had learned in our last tutorial that in the hooks, React doesn't provide you this feature that it will automatically merge your old state with the new state. Ultimately, what React will do is whatever you will pass in into the setter function, it will take it as a new state and override the value for the old state. So what we want always, whenever you will create an item, we want a new array into the items that will contain an old array. So we will spread the items of old array first, and secondly we will be adding a new object that in the array that will contain two values. One is key and the other one is, for example, I will pass 0 here, and the value. What should be the value? Empty string. Now I should do one thing. I will change this key 0 to, I will say items dot length. So items dot length will take the key from the length of your array. First iteration or one first time we will click this button, the item dot length will be 0. So your key will be 0. One second time you will click it, there will be already one item in the array. Second time the key will be 1. When third time or so on you will click, always your key will get incremented by 1, because every time you are adding an item in an array. After that, in this, what I will do is I will use a library called maths.floor. Inside this, I will say maths.random, the function multiply by 10 and plus 1. So it will give you a random number between 1 to 10. So what is happening here? Let me recall it. We had created an state array. Okay, inside that state array, the items should have array. We are mapping those items here as an UL and LI list. First li list item, we are taking key as a key parameter because each variable in an array will contain an object which have two attributes. One will be key and the other one will be value. How we will set both or add this item in an array? By using this button. This button, as soon as you will click, it will call an add item function. In add item function, you will set an items that will copy the old items and add every time new item with plus 1 in the key and a random function in the value. Let me go ahead and show you in my browser. As you guys can see, it's showing me 279982252. This is a random number that we are adding into our array. So that's it. Until now, what we had to learn regarding use state is already done. You guys know how to use the use state with objects, with arrays, how you can copy the old value for the state and add the new value in that one, and with normal string variables as well. So let me go ahead and summarize it for you. What we had learned in use state hook is the useState hook let you to add state in functional components. In case of classes, the state is always object, but with the useState hook, the state doesn't have to be an object. You can pass array, you can pass any kind of data type you want. Sorry. The useState hook returns an array of two elements. The first element is the current value of the state, and the second element is the setter function. If new state value depends upon the previous state value, you can pass function as a parameter to setter function as well. When dealing, and this is the final point, when dealing with the objects and arrays, always make sure to spread your state variable, then call the setter functions. So that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys like it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.